I've talked about begonia propagation before, but Sandy from Terrascapes in Singapore actually propagates them slightly differently for his climate here in Singapore, which is hot and humid. So we're about to show you that today. So we got some begonias here, and we're going to do some propagation in a couple different ways. And I'm curious about it because, you know, you propagate in different medium here because of your climate conditions.
That's right.
But I'd like to see what kind of begonias do we have here today?
Okay, over here we have a Begonia Cleopatrae, and over here is Begonia Fos Cleo. This is another Cleopatrae, and this one is Begonia Amphioxus. Everyone's favorite, I think, for now, yeah?
It looks a little like an amphibian skin, you know, with like
with the spots.
Little red spots.
Yep.
And it's customary, you always see ones with like the cane begonias with the like little white or silvery spots, but this one's a little bit more unique.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit more about the propagation medium for begonias out here.
So the media is very similar to what we did with the cacti and succulents, except that we've taken out the cocoa peat, because these plants are generally grown in the shade, right? So they don't dry out so quickly. That's why you don't need cocoa peat to be able to help the media to absorb water faster.
Got it.
They're always like a little damp, so it's easier to just water them every time.
So you're using peat, and this is some river stone or river sand?
Yep, and the volcanic sand and pumice again.
And you're kind of like more of the cook in the kitchen where you're just eyeing out like how much you should have.
We do that.
Yeah,
it's all about eyeballing.
But it seems like it has a good amount of peat in here though too. So what's the difference when you're doing both seed and leaf cutting? Do you have a preference for one versus the other?
I would say that leaf cuttings are the fastest, right? The seed grown ones like this one, right? I ordered the seeds online from someone in Europe. They were quite expensive, but I figured that expensive would mean it's more trustworthy. And they did good. You know, the germination rate was really good. And I've had this one for probably about 8 or 10 months already.
All right,
and that's quite slow from seed.
From seed, yeah.
These two are from seed.
And then
pretty slow.
But once you grow them from seed, then you could take a leaf cutting.
Yes, that's right, that's right.
But the other good thing about the seed is that you're getting a different plant from the mother plant.
Yes, and I would say it'd be stronger, right? The gene pool would be much better.
I mean, I guess we can't see the seed-grown ones grown, but it's also interesting to be able to just, you know, compare them. So why don't we actually take some leaf cuttings?
Oh, sure, okay. So we're gonna start off with the media in a pot. Begonias don't seem to need very, very deep pots because I find that when the pots are too deep, right, they hold too much water and you could cause rot as well. Like we're so afraid of rot in Singapore.
With your humidity here.
Yeah. Okay. And then what we're gonna do is to just grab a leaf. Any leaf will do, I guess.
Yeah. And you just flipped it off with, you just have just a little bit of that right there.
Yes,
okay.
this stalk is the most important one. You could either cut this off, but for me, I would just tear off a piece of leaf. And you know that every vein here could give you a baby. Yeah. So we're just gonna stick it in this way. Maybe cover it a little bit. Make sure it's secure. And then this one's the most important one because this one has like a 99% success rate. You're gonna stick it in here.
So yeah, like you can't all have a stem on each one.
Yeah.
But the one with the stem probably has a little bit more juice for
definitely. So in a couple of weeks or I don't know, maybe 2 months, this is what you're gonna get.
And you see basically it's coming out of the little leaf structure right there. And you just leave that in, right? You just leave it and let it grow.
It still feeds the plant. They still photosynthesize, so it'll feed the babies.
I mean, I guess you don't have a humidity place here, humidity trays.
You don't need that.
The whole world is humid. So you don't have to put a plastic bag over or anything like that?
No, we don't.
Do you ever use kind of fungicides or anything that could, you know, does it get harmed in any way by mold or fungus?
Yes, it can get a fungal or even a bacterial infection. So the best is to propagate a few at one go, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, you get a higher hit rate at the end of the day.
Yeah. And do you ever have to deal with like if too much sun, or do you keep them kind of under something that's semi-set shaded?
Yes, for now, right, you want to keep it in like a bright shade and no direct sun at all. So we usually put it under our racks.
That's perfect. Well, this has been really helpful, and it just also goes to show you that it's like super easy to do.
It is. It is. When you know the right way to do it,
Yeah.
it's very, very easy.
Yeah, indeed. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
As Sandy just demonstrated, begonia propagation is done a little differently in such a hot, humid, and rainy climate. If you want to see how to propagate more plants, check out my other plant propagation videos here, or review the propagation section at houseplantmasterclass.com, the first online course covering houseplant cultivation, maintenance, and care.